Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Itsundas of Fury, and welcome to round 13 of Indian Racing Community's coverage of Tier 1 of F1 2020. Good evening. I'm joined here today by my fellow co-commentator, Crazy Joe. I almost said your Discord name there. Crazy Joe, how are you doing today?
Yeah, that might be a bit off-putting, but okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I am doing well. Very excited for the race today. Monza, Temple of Speed, and pretty pacey people in here today. So yeah, quite excited. Let's see what's going to happen today.
We also have Harry Rocks here in the commentary box, although he'll be doing more of the camera work, but also will be chipping in every once in a while with some opinions as well. Harry, how are you doing?
Yep, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It's been a very relaxed Saturday so far. We had a interesting ACC race yesterday. The less said about my race, the better. But let's go ahead and quickly hop into some of the prerequisites, which let's have a look first at the hot lap and the track video.
Right away.
The Temple of Speed. Does anything need to be said? Possibly one of the most recognizable circuits in all of motorsport, this 5.8 kilometer pantheon is all about speed. With an astonishing 75% of the lap spent at full throttle, Monza will see the cars becoming more slippery and low drag than any circuit of the season so far. With the tow being incredibly useful, it'll be trial by speed for our season finale. Season 5 graced us with a wet race, and under these treacherous conditions the braking down to turn 1 becomes more crucial than ever. The Rettifilo chicane will be the most major overtaking point as cars touch 340 km an hour coming down the main straight, and will aim to get the best possible braking line into the braking zone of turn 1. With sectors 2 and 3 being high speed and close proximity, don't be surprised to see drivers holding off until sector 1 to send one down the inside.
Temple of Speed, and today we are going around this fantastic historic circuit with our very own Not So Masoom. Starting on the pitch straight, fast approaching T1 or the Rettifolio corner. Hard braking zone. You've got to brake much earlier than usual, especially if you're on a full load and just starting the race out on like not so warm tires. Now through Curva Grande, as you can see, Masoom's clinging to the apex, clinging to the curbs, but not really going on top of it because you know that really affects and hampers your speed. Now through Della Roggia, the chicane of Della Roggia, fantastic to set up an overtaking opportunity into Ascari. Everything you do after this, from the Lesmo 1 that you just saw us going through, to the tighter, much tighter Lesmo 2, which any mistake made throws you onto the gravel track. This entire section sets your car up for the kind of overtaking you want to do through Ascari. Whether you just want to close the gap and do put some pressure on the guy in front of you, or you actually want to get an overtake done. That's what those three corners are all for. And Ascari, fantastic, historic, beautiful circuit. A lot of drivers in IRC are struggling to get it right, losing 3/10s, 2/10s there, which could be made up, especially for a good driver. Now through Parabolica. Like, fortunately, unfortunately, we don't have the kind of drivers jumping over track limit like you have in the real F1. So this is going to be a fantastic circuit to see today's racing.
Great to see the track video there. Great to see the hot lap there from Masoom. And I was just being told by Harry behind the scenes here that was before his wheel days. So a lot of commitment there, and I think that's going to be the secret formula today. I think it's going to be maximum commitment, no lift, because Monza's all about speed, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's gonna be a lot of commitment through turn 1 and 2. Actually, if you can take that first turn 1's curb, inside curb, properly, like maximizing as much as you can and staying just within the track limits, you gain a ton of time. Similarly, even through Ascari, whole set of the Ascari turns. On the exit, if you can take that inside and go onto that back straight, that's probably the best line. But it can also unsettle your car, and really interesting to see how the lines are through that particular corner.
Since both of you guys are tier 2 drivers, I should maybe get some insight here as we just I think we're about time to head into the session now. Is setting up the car for Monza possibly the easiest track on the calendar, or is it just as complicated to set up here? Because general rule of thumb, it's just remove as much downforce as possible and just send it, but it's not quite that easy, is it?
Yeah, speaking about setups, it is, yeah, as you mentioned, there's like no downforce. You cut down on as maximum downforce as possible, but you need to be sure that there's a couple of chicanes and one fast Ascari chicane down there where you need a bit of stability, more of the rear stability. So you can't be going all out with your wings there, but definitely you need to find that balance and the speed. But yeah, that's as per tier 2 knowledge, that's what I can say about the setups.
Well, on my side, I think my opinion is I've seen a varying number of setups, and let me just take us into the session before I tell my opinion about the setups.
I think we should also, before you tell us about the setups, look a little bit at the weather forecast. Ooh, dry race on the cards. I think some people would be disappointed by that, but I think at the same time, some people would be encouraged by that as well at the same time. Let's also have a look at the drivers and constructors standings, which should just be popping up on the right of your screen as we head into the final rounds of the season. Not the exact final round, as it was mentioned in the voiceover. That was my mistake. Eccentric is leading the Drivers' Championship on 192 points for the Williams.
I think there is some kind of technical issue on 8 cylinders then, probably. Harry, can you confirm?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
waiting to see if he comes back, but looks like 8 cylinder
Yeah.
has gone off. But yeah,
Yeah, so no worries about it. So he'll be back, so no worries. So as we see, Eccentric, yeah, he is at 192 points, comfortably 45 points ahead of Myth. And okay, just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so we have Tanish on track right now on softs, and Evil Talk and Black Sheep opting to go on to the mediums. Interesting strategy considering Monza is a fast track and it's pretty much of a one-stopper. So soft to mediums or medium to softs, either or works here. But let's see how this turns out. Welcome back, 8 cylinders.
You're gonna see a lot more of those disconnects. My Wi-Fi has been very, very odd. It's been just weird. So I do apologize if I got cut off there a little bit. I was just running through the drivers and constructors championship. Basically summed up, Eccentric is in the lead in the drivers standings, and Williams are in the lead in the constructors standing. That should put a smile on your face, Mr. Joe, because I believe you're a Williams driver in Tier 2.
Yes, sir. So it's basically if I was a tier 1 driver, Eccentric will be carrying me all around. But okay. Yeah, he is the star in the Williams lineup right now, and he has been guiding me throughout some of the races wherever possible. He has been my race engineer, and I have been able to make some places with help of him. So yeah, pretty much happy for my teammate.
well,
So
you were talking about the setups earlier. I just wanted to chip in about that because probably a little bit of knowledge which I can impart. Um, Well, I've seen varied types of setups. It depends on the driver's driving style, for example. Some drivers like a lively rear end, whereas some drivers like Black Sheep himself, actually, I need to mention, he likes a more stable rear end, and his setup is usually higher on the downforce on the rear. And that also, what happens is because of that, you tend to have slower, I think, understeer, if I'm right. The rear end, the more downforce you have on the rear gives you a slight bit of understeer, but that also gains you a lot of time because you can push the car to the limits. And some drivers like Eccentric, they have a very different kind of opinion about how to set up the right height of a car, for example, so that they can attack every curve they take. That gains another chunk of time because they don't really have to think about the curves anymore. But yeah, that's what I had to say.
Very insightful. Thank you, Harry. We have just got the qualifying session underway here. 15-minute qualifying followed by a 50% race has been the IRC format across all the tiers. And right now, leading the timing sheets is Moto in P1 with a 1:19 flat. Chicken in P2 with a 1:19.8. Ooh, well off the pace there, I would say, off the top spot. Kimrai in P3 and Black Sheep in P4. Seeing a couple of drivers putting their banker laps on the medium tire, Black Sheep and Evil Dog respectively. As we do drop into the 1:18s, as Danish invalidates his lap there, coming through the second chicane out of 3 chicanes on this track. So it's just high speed with some chicanes. That's basically Monza.
Absolutely. And one thing I like about Monza is, and Italians in general, is how they name the track and the corners basically. The first chicane, the Variante chicane. You speak with a heavy Italian accent. If I'm offending someone, I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, the Variante chicane, as we see Babaji dropping straight into it. Okay, we see Tanish now going pretty deep and spins off. There's like he is not holding himself back with that broken wing. Yeah, he is supposed to pit right now, but I don't see him slowing down anyways. So probably his strategy is like go all guns blazing.
Yeah. And in doing so, he has taken the scenic route across the Monza circuit by taking the gravel trap through pretty much every turn. And he'll manage to keep it on track through the Parabolica, though, as he dives into the pits for a new front wing. But it's not generally a track that claims a lot of front wings, Monza. We have a lot of runoffs, and there's not many, I would say, difficult corners. I'd say Monza is pretty beginner-friendly. It definitely is in GT3 racing. I'm not entirely sure how it is in F1. Maybe the difference in speed is something to take into consideration. But generally, Monza is seen as a fairly easy track to drive. What are your thoughts on this?
I can agree to that. Considering when I began racing in F1, it was like in 2020 itself. Monza was like one of my favorite tracks. Why first? Because this is very fast, and secondly, there's just like 3 chicanes and one huge parabolica that's like ultimate turn in the end to finish off the lap. So yeah, so this track is beginner friendly, you can say. So for these experts of tier 1, this will be a great place to see how pacey they are on track. And another thing would be the as simple as the track becomes, the closer will be the grid. So we can probably see times or the grid bunched up quite close to each other by the end of the session.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't be more than 2 seconds separating the fastest and the slowest time. I think even that is a little bit of an overestimation. I think we should be seeing everyone in the 120s, and the fastest drivers obviously in the 119s could be dropping into the 118s. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll have a look at last season's pole time and I'll let you know a little later on as to what we saw in the previous season. Season 5 at Monza. It was a wet race. I'm not sure if it was a wet qualifying, but if we do have a clear forecast for this race, so I think it should be pretty straightforward for everyone, which is a little disappointing as a spectator because, you know, tier 1 is obviously top tier. These guys are probably the fastest we have here on IRC at F1, so we'd like to see them challenged a little bit, but right now they seem to be, it's just a big competition to see who can go the fastest.
I agree to that. Harry, if we can just go on board Tanish, he is about to start his lap. This will be his second attempt. So, yeah, he's just getting to the last scarring.
Well, mentioning about being an easy track to drive, it is probably easy, But then the point about it is slow and fast out. The basics of racing or cornering and racing, if we all know that these are the basics, slow and fast out. That is, it's a trip back to the basics, how well you can do the slow and fast out method. And moreover, the traction on this track, getting on the throttle out of corners is very important, because the earlier you get on throttle, that's the amount of time you gain down the whole straight after that. If you can see Tanish now getting on this throttle out of turn 1 and 2 is very important. He seems to have got it decently well, maybe bang on. We'll have to wait and see how his sector times look.
Absolutely. So as we see, Tanish hitting at top speed, close to 340 kmph. Does a purple sector one, tips the wheel into the gravel, might cost him a couple of tenths or more probably, and a bit of a slip. Pretty clean through Lesmo 2, opens the DRS straight.
You can really tell that Tanish is trying to spend as much time on full throttle as he possibly can. I think that is very important here at Monza, to carry as much speed as possible, because as he big mess up there. I don't think he's really picked up any damage from that, because he went rear first into the wall, so he will consider himself a little lucky, but I think those tires have seen the end of their qualifying if he's really flat spotted there. As we see a Toro Rosso flying across our screen. I think that might have been Moto, although I'm not entirely sure.
That is Moto. Actually, I had to mention, I think Tanish was on the edge of getting disqualified because he was facing the wrong way, and we know the game is notorious to give us a disqualification if you're facing the wrong way. But I guess he's lucky. Ooh, extreme tire pressures on the rear over there, definitely.
Right? You mean the tire temperatures, right?
Sorry, tire temperatures. I'm sorry, the ACC is getting into us.
I was just gonna mention, all that ACC has been getting to your head, Harry.
Yeah, not gonna lie. I'm kinda nervous for tomorrow's race as well. Sorry, Joe. Go on.
And I was just saying that Moto has absolutely lit up his tires. Hardly finding any grip, manages to pull himself into the pit, and meanwhile, Eccentric has improved his lap time up to 118.4s, but I believe they'll be easily dipping into the 117s by the end of this stint. Let's see.
I think one thing I've noticed so far in this race that might be a little bit more of importance in the actual race itself. One thing I've seen in qualifying is Monza has a very short pit entry, so you have very little time to get down from whatever velocity you're doing coming out of Parabolica and getting the car slowed down. It's going to be crucial. It's a short pit lane, but it's also a short pit entry, so there's a lot more room for error there, I think.
Yes, and not just that, the entire pit stop takes hardly less than 20 seconds. So if you are in the lead and you are trying to pit, hopefully you do not pit right into the traffic. So you probably want to avoid that. So yeah, so Monza, as the name suggests itself, the temple of speed, everything is spacey here. And yeah, so even the pit stops, as we see Charles Leclerc,
disqualified. Big impact there coming out of Ascari. I was just going to say he was up through Sector 1, a little bit of time lost through Sector 2, but clearly in trying to recover that little bit of lost time, he just pushed a little bit too far on the exit of Ascari. That's going to be a place where a lot of drivers are going to be having issues. It is going to be on the exit of Ascari.
Absolutely. The exit of Ascari is where everyone, like, the trend right now seems to be everyone is losing their rear end and just going into the wall or just spinning right off. So probably they'll have to they can't change the setups anyways. We have the Parc Fermé on, so we have to be careful out of Ascari chicane. We have seen 3 guys go off right now, and out of which Eccentric still managing to put in a sub 19 time. So yeah, I think experience and pace is speaking highly in this track right now.
We were just on board there with Glader for a brief split second as he dived into the pits. He put on a magnificent performance in our last race at Brazil. He's right now in the Ferrari down in P13 in the qualifying so far on a 121. Definitely room for improvement there. But I think he's going to put on another good show today because he had a very impressive showing last time around as a reserve driver stepping in for Ferrari, and I think he's a good driver to look out for in future seasons of F1.
Yes, absolutely. So he, as I can see, he has done like 5 laps on the surfaces, probably putting down, like learning the track a bit, and maybe learning the what he like. Getting more data about what the competitors are putting in, and or maybe just trying to rubber the track more before he goes in for a one fast hot lap. So he has opted for the mediums. So let's see if he can do a sub 119. Okay, we see Babaji has retired. I think there's another Ascari.
Yeah, I think not
Yeah.
Ascari. He spun out of the first chicane, but I could not get that because now he is retired. I can't go on board him. But let's try and get Moto if he goes over there. We'll try to get. Oh no, Baba has gone back to the pits. So I guess, yeah, tough quali, and Moto does a good lap till there. Sector 3 was fastest. Sector 1 was fastest, but the middle sector, Sector 2, I think he didn't really make that time, and he's gotten a P2, which is 7/100ths of approximately, so that's quite close to eccentric.
I think he may have lost a lot of time, or at least that 7/10ths, which he was looking, or 7/100ths, I should say, not 7/10ths, was coming out of Lesmo 2. He just was a little bit conservative with the throttle, a little bit conservative on the track limits. Could have pushed a little harder maybe, but I think it's better to put in a lap that puts you on the front row rather than put in a lap and then have it invalidated. So we have Tanish, still hasn't set a lap in qualifying so far, getting a massive tow from his teammate Caples in the Alfa Romeo as well, coming through the Della Roggia chicane, the second chicane out of 3 on this track, coming through the Lesmos now. Important to stay tucked in, spits you out right wide of the track. Lesmo 2, important to carry as much speed through there as possible. He's handled it very well, but this is going to be crunch time for Tanish because it's been Sector 3 that's been very troublesome for him so far. Purple through Sector 1, improvement on his time through Sector 2, but has invalidated his lap again coming through Ascari. Just doesn't seem to be going to plan for Tanish going through Ascari there so far. We've seen him make a number of errors through there.
Absolutely. The Ascari is proving to be quite notorious for plenty of people today. So this will be quite an interesting race. Considering it's just a dry race, so what if it was wet? Ascari would have proven to be much more notorious then.
Oh yeah.
So as we see, okay, there's another AlphaTauri of General Pepe invalidating it. If we can go on board, what the WTF chicken, keeping it PG friendly there. Okay, he is still on his out lap.
I think Chicken has. Oh, okay. I don't know if he'll have enough time. Yeah, he should be having enough time. Everyone's on their final runs. Let's just go on board someone
if we
on
can
a
go
lap.
on board Helium.
Yep.
Helium was on his fast lap, so we can stay on board Helium as he looks to make an improvement on his P4. 1:18.7 is a blisteringly fast lap, but the margins are so tight. It's just 3/10 separating P1 and 4 right now, so any time, anywhere will do for these drivers. Entry of Ascari executed very well. Couple again, another driver I think disqualified on the exit of Ascari there. We saw him facing the wrong way. And that is Black Sheep as well out at Ascari. That section is going to be claiming a lot of big names. Kaushik as well retiring. Aditya retiring. A lot of drivers as Helium comes across the line, pushes Moto down to take that spot on the front row. But unless we have any other driver, I think we have Glader on a fast lap coming through Sector 2 right now. Tanish in the pits. I think Glader, Evil Doc are the only two, or Chicken as well. And Eccentric, current pole sitter, all of them are currently on their final flying lap. The session is over. They have 2 minutes left to make an improvement. And Glader goes off the track. Unfortunately, that will disqualify his lap, or at least ruin his lap, even if it doesn't disqualify it completely. Chicken flies past him down the back straight, heading down to Parabolica. He's up on his own personal time through sectors 1 and 2, but will he be able to improve through sector 3? Not if he runs wide. Hasn't invalidated his lap. Luckily comes across the line, and he doesn't manage to improve on his time. Stays P8.
Meanwhile, Eccentric improves further to an 118.2. So Eccentric is setting himself apart from the rest of the field, and he is a good 2/10 off from second place. So, do we have any other fast laps? I don't think so.
The
So this will be the
quali
final
session's over.
grid.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is the
so-
final grid.
So as we see, Eccentric lines up on the top of the grid with a 118.2, followed by Helium and Moto separated by 6/10. Oh no, sorry, it's 600s. So that is some exciting qualifying session from the Tier 1 boys. Hopefully the same carries over to the race and we get some amazing action. So yeah, Moto lines up with P3, General Pepe in P4, Black Ship P5, the new face Kimrai lines up at P6, Evil Doc in P7, WTF Chicken P8, P9 for Pro P, Aditya comes in P10, Babaji starts in P11, a strategic pole position probably for him. Shalalak in P12, Glader in P13, unfortunately couldn't improve his time. Kapile starts P15 and Tanish starts at the right at the back of the grid in P15, who couldn't manage to put in a time, and Askari proved pretty notorious for Tanish. So hopefully he can do some wonders in the race.
Well, the medium soft, the alternate strategy on this track is supposed to be quite OP, but I am not sure. I might be wrong, so let's just wait and watch, because that puts Baba in a really good place, and so does it put Kapil and Tanish, because Kapil is known for taking the tires he has really long, keeping the lap times consistent, and doing his last stint like a quali run every single lap. He keeps shooting the pace out, so it'll be interesting to see how the Alfa Romeo boys, I'm sorry, I was at a loss of words, Alfa Romeo boys are able to make up places in the race based on the strategy they pick.
Absolutely. Do we have 8 Sills here?
No, I'm here. I've just been taking a back seat, letting you guys run the show. I was just going to say that Williams in-game in IRC have had a good qualifying, and have had a good qualifying in the race today, in the qualifying today for the Styrian Grand Prix. Not going to spoil much for anyone. Definitely check out qualifying later. But the championship battle is definitely hotting up in real life, if not in IRC, because it seems like Eccentric is going to run away with this championship with 3 races left to go, including today's. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race to see who gets top spot. Bragging rights.
Absolutely. But I think the top 10 starts on softs. I don't think anyone on mediums qualified in top 10. So I think the rest of the field outside of top 10, they have the free choice of tires. And let's see who goes out on mediums and manages to uh, make that reverse strategy work. Only
they
if
do-
we had, yeah, I was just sorry about that. Like, only if I was craving for a bit of a rain, that would have put a spanner into the mix, and that would have made the entire race strategy to be a bit more interesting. But yeah, this is tier when we never see rain here. That rain is only fixed for tier 3. Am I right, boys?
Tier 3 has produced a lot of incredible racing, both interesting and clean, all at the same time. But I think I was just going to say that if someone does manage to come back and win this race, or at least do a brilliant job on the reverse strategy, starting outside the top 10, we have to give them the Maranello Baby Award for fantastic comeback of the race.
Absolutely. I think. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, we're just heading out on the formation lap here. Do go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so Eccentric and the myth we miss him today. He isn't racing anyway. So Eccentric always probably chooses to go out to qualify on the mediums, but today surprisingly he's on the soft. So being the fastest guy in tier 1 right now, I think soft to medium should be a probable strategy, but you never know. There will be guys opting for mediums. Can we go on board the tire strategies, Harry?
Yep, 1 second. I'm sorry, I did not get that on. Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. Uh, there is a car off track. That is the Williams of Eccentric. So finding it hard to gain temperature into those softs, but hopefully he doesn't find the same issues during the race. And as I was saying, everyone from top, like after top 10 has opted for the medium. So absolutely they will start on the fresh mediums.
What's
Stretch
your
them out.
call on Kaushik starting on the hard tires down in P16?
I would not suggest that.
Well,
Hards,
I can.
yeah.
Sorry, Crazy Joe. I had to talk over there because out of experience in season 5, when I was a Ferrari driver, Monza on the hards is nightmare because at least I was not able to extract the pace because the grip levels are so bad on the hards that you just cannot push every lap, and you consistently keep losing a couple of tenths or maybe more to the medium runners itself. So it's a tough thing to do, not the ideal thing to do, I would say, but let's wait and
I
watch.
think I think roughly rephrased, what you're trying to say is the advantage that you gain in having a longer lasting tire does not offset the pace advantage or pace deficit that you have to the drivers around you on the medium. So I think we should keep an eye on Kaushik and see how he does in this race, because he's definitely gone for the left field strategy, let's say. As the grid is reforming here, we should have the lights going out in just a second. Eccentric on pole position, Helium in P2, Moto in P3, and the grid goes on from there. It's going to be interesting down into turn 1. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go here in Monza. Eccentric gets a decent start there. Helium maybe a little bit slow on the start, is instantly hounded by some of the drivers from behind. But it seems like Moto may have overtaken, or Kimrai may have overtaken Moto at the race start. We head down to turn 1. Seems to be pretty clean so far. Just everyone banging wheels, jostling for space. Very tight there. You see 2 cars spinning off the track there at the exit of turn 1, or turn 2, I should say. Now coming onto the Curva Grande. A couple of drivers falling back. That might have been Pro P. No more pro player falling down the order a bit there. We do see some of the soft driver. No, I think it was Aditya and Evil Doc, both the soft runners who were inside the top 10. As we saw earlier, all the soft runners were inside the top 10, have dropped back now to P15 and 16. But that will mean that they'll have to get past Kaushik on the hard tires. Not much order change at the front of the grid though. Kimrai has switched positions with Moto as the AlphaTauri driver drops back a position, and I believe the other AlphaTauri driver, General Pepe, who started in P4, has dropped down to P9. Terrible start there for him so far in this first lap.
Not just that, Evil Dog started like somewhere around P7. He is right down the back of the grid. Okay, he gains a place back to P14 just because Pro P has some front wing damage, but he is opting to stay out. Okay, no, we are on board Evil Dog. I'm so sorry about that. We see Black Sheep pitting, Pro P pitting. Not a great start for these boys. They will be craving for that safety car. As I was saying, we see Kapil is in P4. Is that right, or is that
No,
the
that is
bad?
wrong. The timing sheets have gone
Yeah.
bad. We have to wait for them to
I was
reset.
just going to say, Evil Doc was in P15 a second ago. It now says he's in the lead. This timing tree needs to wake up. But yeah, I think Eccentric still keeps the race lead, but he does have a penalty. I didn't see that popping up on my screen a little earlier, but Eccentric has a penalty.
Actually, I did note that during the first chicane, I think he cut the corner and he got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. So he might have gone straight through the first variant chicane, and that will be his 5 seconds in the tally right now.
Well, Eccentric then having to think right off the bat about pacing himself and trying to get the edge. That 5-second margin is now going to be weighing on his strategy, weighing on his mind. And right now we can see he's the guy setting the pace on the track. And he has to, because if he wants to effectively not have that 5-second penalty affect his race, he needs to be 5 seconds clear of the car behind him. But I think it's rest assured Helium won't be letting him go very soon. A lot of drivers exchanging positions. General Pepe moving up from P9 to P6 within the span of 2 laps, getting the overtake done on Babaji in P7, getting a little bit sideways there out of turn 2. Tanish also getting a great start. I'm not really sure if the timing trees are still messed up. I think it may have fixed itself, but Tanish getting a fantastic start up from pretty much outside the top 15 to now moving up to P5, and his Alfa Romeo teammate as well, Kapil, getting a fantastic start. Both drivers up into the top 10. And guess what? This now moves Tanish into contention for the race lead if he can make that reverse strategy work out.
Absolutely, I was just about to say that Tanish had a brilliant start. Started on the mediums from the back of the grid and managed to climb all the way up to the P5, yeah. So, yeah, and as we see, Babaji is the first of the guys to manage to gain like the 3-second penalty for corner cutting or extending his track limits probably. Yeah, so... yeah, Tanish had a brilliant track as we see Babaji spinning off, and yes, so I think he might have lit up his rears. Right now he'll be falling to the back of the grid. So
he also picks up a penalty, I believe, for...
that was the 3 seconds he got for extending his lap. As we see 3 wide going down into the first chicane. As we see one of the racing points cutting the corner to keep it clean, and the Mercedes losing the rear, going off track. That is the Mercedes of Aditya, finding it hard to keep it on track as we see both of the racing points going side by side into the second chicane. Little of a block up and managed to keep it clean, considering that Kaushik Tumala is on the hard tires and Shalalurk is on the mediums. That was some brilliant racing there.
Shalalurk is currently in this VC right now, so he can hear everything we tell him. You need to do better, mate. Overtaken by your teammate on the hard tires right now. Kaushik moves up into the top 10, but Shalalurk is not letting him go right now, right on his rear diffuser. Aditya picks up a time penalty. 3 seconds for multiple warnings. We're already getting track limit warnings, and we're only 5 laps into the race. Although I'm right now on board Shalalurk, his engine cover seems to be orange. I don't know how the telemetry works, but it shows that he either is carrying a lot of damage, or that might be just a bug.
Yeah,
So-
no, let me just...
Yeah,
that
go on,
is
go on,
the...
Joe.
how hot... Yeah, I was saying, like, that is just how hot the engine is. So probably he was running rich and behind some cars, so the engine temperatures might have just shot up. And as we see what the... like, WTF Chicken has retired from the session.
Not
And
really
we have
sure
a
where he
safety
lost.
car. We have a safety car. So, will we be witnessing some pit stops? Or-
WTF Chicken has retired on the exit of Ascari. Ascari claims yet another name. Although I see a couple of cars just coming out of the pit lane now. That might be Baba coming out of the pit. No, that's Black Sheep, I think, coming out of the pit lane there.
That is the Red Bull of Pro P. He had to pit another time, like for one more time probably. Or he might have, like, he picked up damage in the first lap itself. So there might be a switch of strategy probably for Pro P. We do not see any pit stops right now. Or is it? Yes, we see Eccentric diving down into the pit stops. Couple
That's
more.
going to be a
Yes, everyone behind.
That's going to be a
sorry.
that's going to be a Concertino effect going into the pits now. Everybody just having a look over at Eccentric, seeing what he's doing. We do see, I think, Capiles has chosen to stay out, so He's the one driver I think who I think Helium may have gotten a jump over Eccentric in the pits. I think Eccentric has served his 5 seconds in the pits during his pit window there. So he drops back to P7. It's going to be a mega comeback from him. Although I believe Helium has picked up a penalty, and so has Kim Rai. Interesting.
Interesting.
Well,
There,
I
absolutely,
need to point out, I was going to point out that Eccentric had a 5 second which will be served. But I have to mention, Tanish seems to have put onto the hards. In fact, let me go onto the tire. Yeah. Oh my god. Most of the field has gone onto the hards for the rest of the race. That has really put out the reverse strategy, like down the bin, down the drain. All of the hard work from Tanish to get all that tire into the working temperature, get the grip, find the positions in the first few laps, seems to have gone to waste now. Now it's even Stevens for everyone, and he has to gain those places again.
Tell you what, there's something very interesting regarding everyone switching to the hard tire is guess who has foreseen this ahead of everyone else? And that is Kaushik Tumala in P2. He's on the hard tire, well up to working range, and doesn't have to worry. Well, he does have to go and do a compulsory pit stop, but guess what? His hard tire is now going to be within that window of optimum usage, whereas everyone else is now on cold tires. So he somehow had some psychic vision telling him to go onto the hard tires, and it's worked out really well for him because he's up into P2, and it's a double podium right now as it stands for the Racing Point team.
Well,
Yes,
another... sorry, go on, Joe.
Yeah, okay. I was saying Evil Dog has pitted for the softs. That is an interesting strategy coming from Evil Dog. He started on his race on mediums, but he has opted for the softs. So he will be pitting again. Remind you that. But he will be pitting, but I don't know what he is planning to. Probably he is bargaining or planning for another, or hoping for another safety car. So that would be amazing for him, probably. But right now, I see Glader and Evil Dog, the only guys running on softs. The majority of the team running on hards, and a couple of guys on the mediums. So yeah, Harry, you were saying?
Yeah, the top three, well, definitely did jump a lot of places because of the safety car, but that was only because they have not pit. And the likes of Couple Ace and Sharlock will definitely have to pit for fresh rubber towards the end of the race. Kaushik, bound by the rule of having to pit at least once, the mandatory pit stop, will have to, because the hards can do the whole race, but then he might push it as late as possible. And do I just see Couple overtaking the safety car? Okay.
Yes.
Cheeky stuff. Don't know what he was trying, but well, he seems to have gotten back into control of his car, or gotten back to his senses, given the safety car that he
Harry,
won.
can we go on board Black Sheep? I see him switching positions with Baba. Is that a strategy?
No, that is because he is offline. But let's just go
Black Sheep
on
has
board
the-
these guys. Sorry, I need to cut you off there because the safety car is in this lap, and we're gonna see racing resume. I want to see how these guys are gonna start the race. Couple being in the lead is known to be a clever safety car restarter, if I can use that word. But let's see how he's gonna do it. He seems to be running it late, getting some heat into his tires. Ooh!
Oh my goodness!
Kaushik going
Is
side by
that
side,
Kaushik?
and he has hit Couple. This is gonna be
Both
really
picked up
weird.
penalty.
And he started it. Oh my god!
And Kaushik Tumala is left in the dust as he drops down back to P6 while Kapil is off into the distance. We see 3 wide into the first chicane and couple of cars going off track.
Yeah, sorry, I did not get that on
Yeah.
stream, but we had 3 cars. That was Kimrai and both of the, I think both of the Racing Points. They got into
No,
an issue.
Yes. That was one was Kaushik Tumala hitting, and there's a major lockup from someone behind there. Okay, so Kaushik Tumala had a very bad restart from managing to hit Kapil is gaining 5 seconds of penalty, then dropping right back for the restart. And Kapil is just off. How, as we see Glader back in P2, how did he manage to gain so many positions back then? We have obviously missed something right there.
I think the incident where we had 3 or 4 cars not going off at turn one, but maybe overshooting turn one. I think that's where he's benefited a lot, and also Kimrai got a questionable exit out of turn two, so that's where Glader has pretty much what's it called?
Leapfrog, yeah, leapfrog.
I was going to say frog jumped, and that's not a word. He has leapfrogged quite a lot of the grid, quite a lot of the faster drivers ahead of him who had qualified ahead of him. And tell you what, he's also the only driver in the top 6 currently who does not have a penalty. I'm not going to jinx him. I'm going to touch wood and say Glader is in a pretty good spot to take the race victory here, if not at least contend for it. As we see Eccentric picking up another penalty for exceeding track limits this time. This race is going from bad to worse for the Williams man.
Yes, our man's tried a move down the inside into turn 1 on Kaushik, but half committed, I guess, because he just put his nose on the inside and got a bad exit and had to cut the corner as well. Tanish, in the meanwhile, was trying to opportunistically get the move over there done on Eccentric, but yeah, there was no space for 3 cars to try side-by-side action into turn 1 and 2.
Also, let me just cut in right there and give you some insight. Eccentric has always managed to put his car right up in front and just walk away with his victories. But right now, with his 5 seconds served in the penalties, 5 seconds served in the pit stops, he is back in the mix and he is actually racing with the other guys. So we do not see Eccentric racing most of it. He is always off right in front, walking away into his victory. But right now he has to make his way through the entire grid from P7 if he wants to win the race. Yeah, right to the top.
He's having a Hamilton Mercedes moment. Until now he's had it very easy, but now he's actually got a challenge on his hands, so we should see Eccentric's racecraft shining through here as he's still trapped behind Kaushik Tumala, unable to extract the maximum possible pace. Drivers all the way from P3 down to P8, all on the hard tires now, pretty much all of them are on the hard tires, although it says, Kaushik on the, I would say the hard tires that have seen the most race usage out of all of them right now on 9 laps old, a couple ahead of all the hard tire runners in P2 on the medium tires. So we've got 3 sets of compounds in the top 8, so it's definitely going to be a very interesting strategic mind game, this race.
Yes, and as we can see, Glader probably won't make his soft lap for another 17 laps. Okay, Aditya has retired.
Are we going to see another safety car? We do have another safety car.
Okay. Does that put like a spanner into the strategies right now? Or is it a great chance? Okay, Glader hasn't pitted.
That was late. That was a tad bit later. I think Couple will definitely be pitting. He has taken on the next set of hards, I guess. Ooh, and he has a penalty to serve. Unfortunate.
Yeah, this is
bad.
Actually, this is the one he collided with Kaushik Tumala during the safety car restart.
And he's being held. Oh my god.
Is this
how much longer?
Okay, that was a bug.
And he somehow released a millimeter ahead of the other car after being held up for that long. This game. Aditya, unfortunately, again, Ascari claims another name. Should we rename Ascari to Chicane of Champions? Because I think it's really claiming a lot of names here today. So far, we've had 2 retirements and an endless number of incidents during qualifying as well. So, again, another safety car, barely halfway into the race, and we've seen 2 safety cars, so many varying strategies, lots of collisions and penalties, and this is very unlike Monza, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I've never seen so many retirements back in Ascari, but this is very peculiar. And not just that, we see most of the hard runners opting to stay out. Black Sheep's AI, which managed to do 8 laps, and he is back in the race right now, and he's running P7. But he will be right under attack from Evil Dog, who will be restarting the race with a fresh pair of softs. Mediums. So that is how it stands right now. And Glader hasn't pitted. If Glader pits right now, he should be pitting for the medium side, I guess.
I think right now Glader is in an optimum position. No penalties. He's in the lead. He's got clean air. Maybe it might not be so beneficial with a massive toe that Monza gives, but he's definitely in the clean air. He's on the soft tires. I think you get maybe 7 laps. Am I right in saying 6 or 7 laps on the softs before you start to drop off in tire? As Charles Leclerc has retired. Do we have another safety car? Was that under the safety car? I felt like
Yes, it was. I
Yes,
can
that
tell you
was
what
the-
happened. I think one of the boys started racing down the straight, or was coming in too hot. They hit the Haas of Kimrai. Kimrai got sent into the wall, and that's Madhav, as you can see. I think I lost him there as well. But yeah, he went into the wall and lost his wheel as well. So Kimrai got away with it, but Sherlock is gone. His race is as good as over right now. So I don't know what exactly happened there, but I just knew that a few cars were going in too hot into that particular start-finish straight. So that's gonna be funny.
What I saw is Charles Leclerc was trying to heat up his tires, and there was a car right beside him. He collided with him, and the wall might have caught the best of him. Probably he is in the VC. He might be listening to us. Bad luck there, mate.
Could you tell us what happened, perhaps?
I honestly don't know. I was just following him and then suddenly just slammed on the brakes. I don't know for what.
Well, I think this is probably the wrong time you could ever ask any driver for an opinion, because hot heads, you remember, right out of the race. It's like hot
Yeah.
pakoras right out of the oil.
As we see, the safety car is in this lap. Glader on his 5-lap old softs will be restarting the race with Moto right on his tail, trying to generate heat into his tires. And will we see more drama this safety car restart?
Looks like it.
Glader's got 2 or 3 laps left on those soft tires. He's going to have to be maximum push to open that gap up, because definitely I think Moto, Helium, Eccentric, all these drivers don't really have to worry about tires right now, as Glader does go full send out of Ascari. That's out of Parabolica, not Ascari. I've been mentioning Ascari a lot, but he does get a mega start on Moto. Eccentric and Helium fighting in the background. They're coming side by side through turn 1. Ooh, Eccentric just locked up a bit there, but managed to make it stick. Helium probably had to get out of the way there, but Eccentric really sending it up the inside and holding nothing back. He does have a penalty, so it really is push now or push never for Eccentric as he moves back up into the podium places. Helium, however, is carrying a lot more pace right there through the Della Roggia chicane, coming through the Lesmos now. Eccentric just running a little bit wide. There's great racing there from the two drivers, and it's going to be an all-out, I mean, it has been all-out push from everyone this race so far, which is why we've seen so many incidents, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot more racing action as we see a couple of drivers, 3 sets of drivers going side by side into the entry of the Ascari chicane. Is Ascari going to claim another name here? We almost did. It almost did claim another name there as a couple of drivers went side by side.
Yeah, Babaji looks pacey on those fresh pair of softs, and he is going around the outside of no more pro player probably. No, that is the Haas of Kimrai. Yeah, and Babaji looking very pacey in the safety car restart. As we see him right at the back of his teammate. And that was a switchback, probably. Oh wow, that was a clean move from Babaji on his teammate. Goes side by side with Evil Dog. Was there some wheel banging? I don't know, but they do look pacey, and there's another position gained by Babaji, but he also manages to gain like 3-second time and penalty for cutting that corner.
That he will come to regret that, but I think sitting just on the verge of the top 10 there. I think a race victory might be out of the cards
Just
right
let
now.
me cut you there. Oh, Babaji spun out of Lesmo 2. So I think
Ooh.
commentator's curse is working its charm.
It isn't an IRC F1 race without the commentator's curse striking in, so...
His front wing looks okay, so probably he can gain back the time lost. He's just 2 seconds behind his teammate.
Glader's put nearly 4 seconds between himself and Moto right now, pulling away in P1 on the soft tyres. 8-lap-old softs. So how long is it before those tyres start to drop off and he does have to think about that pit stop?
What I know about pit stops here is the softs will last for a maximum 15 laps, a maximum you can say. And Glader has already done 8 laps, and he has to do another 12 laps. So 20 laps on the softs, that's near about impossible. Or maybe it's possible, but he'll have to drop back on his pace quite significantly. So if he has to do something, he'll has to do something right now. Put in a massive gap between Moto and Eccentric, and like between himself and Moto, and go on for a pair of softs and go at it. Yeah.
I think make these softs last another 2-3 laps until you start to see that pace deficit really kick in, and then put on another set of softs and just full send for the last 12 or so laps of this race. Or 10 laps, I should say.
Absolutely. Harry, can we just go on board with the penalty situations? Because I see many penalties been dished out for Babaji. As it stands, he has 15 seconds worth of penalty already, with Kim Rai at 11 seconds. So, okay, that is Black Sheep has lost it out of Parabolica, and that is a retirement. And we have another safety car.
It's going to be music to his ears for Glader because he's going to get essentially a free pit stop. He's going to get to go on those softs. If he chooses to take that opportunity, he's going to get a free pit stop onto the softs in the lead of the... Well, he'll be a couple of positions down maybe, but... Yeah, this is...
Yeah, and we see a drive-through penalty for Kaushik Tumala. That is not going his way at all. He was in a good place before the second safety car restart, but right now it's going all downhill for him. And as I can see, I think there was an incident between No More Pro Player and Black Sheep. So Pro P has come in for the pits for a new wing and probably a new set of tires. And that is where I think there was a contact between them, and Black Sheep was sent into the wall. And No More Pro Player gets a drive-through penalty. Oh my goodness! So this is not going his way at all.
I think under safety car, if you spend a little too much time above, or if you send your delta into the green or into the red, is it? Then no matter how much you slow down, you just can't get it back down into the green in time before that timer runs down. That inevitable moment where you think, "Oh no, I have ruined it," and you know.
Okay.
Alright.
So what I see right now is Kaushik Tumala received a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, but he has rage quitted probably. He is into the pit lane and he has retired from the race. He is like, enough of this. I was in a good position, but right now this is not going my way, so I am just out of this race. So that's at the end for Kaushik Tumala. And yeah, so talking about Pro P getting a drive-through, I think he might be facing that bug where you do not see the delta. You are just going going like hard on the accelerator, but you cannot see the delta. So this is where you have to press that escape key or go back to the start menu and come back, where you get all your penalties and the display, all your alerts basically. So I think that's what happened to Pro P. He might not be seeing his delta and might have spread accidentally, and he received his drive-through.
Well, I need to point out the various strategies that have come into play and changed the whole scenario for the top 3 right now, because the top 3, that's Moto, Eccentric and Tanish, have opted to stay out on their 10-lap-old hards, and yeah, they are going to end the race provided there is no safety car again. Whereas Glader, under the safety car pit from P1, has gone onto another set of softs, which will take him to the end of the race for sure, because lesser fuel load, and on top of that it's brand new, so he will definitely have the tire life till the last lap. Kimrai in the meantime slightly better position, or slightly worse position than Glader, but definitely in a better position than the top three, because under the safety car they really can't get some heat into those tires. And did I just see Tanish almost go into the pits and come out? He just went really wide to the right and steered in.
I think with the number of strategies that are currently just coming into existence in the top 10, I don't think any driver really knows what to do right now, because it's so unpredictable. And you know, I'll just use this opportunity to bring up a point from the chat here, which is, yo, what is happening? And this looks more like a tier 3 race right now, and I couldn't agree more. This is the kind of destruction that we need in all the tiers. As we have seen the race lead change again. Moto's in the lead now. Eccentric back up into the podium places. He was already in P3. He's now up into P2 after Glader pits. And I should probably point out that Glader is, touch wood again before I jinx this whole race, the only driver so far that has not picked up a penalty. I think I'm right in saying.
Nope, you are not, because Couple and Evil Dog, both of them have also managed to stay clean the whole race.
Well, there you go. Being proven wrong right on stream. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Well, he's one of 3 drivers on track right now who has not picked up a penalty. As we see the race control letting us know that the safety car is coming in this lap, so it's going to be yet another safety car restart for us to feast our eyes upon, as the drivers again send one into turn 1, and we are seeing a very reduced grid right now from 16 drivers down to 11. This is absolutely you can't write this stuff. You really cannot write this. This race is evolving in ways that even us in the commentary box cannot predict.
Well,
as we can.
I need to point out the top 3. The race start is going to be exciting for sure, but just let me point out that the top 3 are going to be eaten alive by the other guys, because they are on old hards. And as we say that, away we go. Moto goes early, and he has caught out Eccentric to a certain stage, but Eccentric getting that slipstream down the start-finish straight. Going into turn 1, a lot of battling in the background. I see Baba gaining and losing some places over there. Let's just go on board him. Exciting start, but managed to keep it clean, I guess. The boys have kept it clean, and Propi has already gone into the pits. I think that is to serve his drive-through, and so will, if I'm right, Gender Pepe, who was the other guy with the drive-through?
I don't think so. I think General Pepe has stayed out, so if he does have a drive-through, he's going to have to serve it in a future lap. Baba getting a brilliant drive out to Della Roggia there, almost side-by-side with Helium coming through Lesmo 1, and he'll definitely be side-by-side coming through Lesmo 2. I correct myself, just deciding to back out at the last minute. Probably not worth the risk, having stayed in the race so far, past all that destruction. I don't think it would be appropriate to just go for it now. Then again, you know, we can't read into the minds of the Tier 1 drivers. We don't know what's going through their minds right now. Ooh, everybody playing it very risky through Ascari there. Full send. Moto still in the lead. Glader not being able to capitalize on that pace advantage. Also, Baba just letting a couple through there. Not entirely sure what's going on. I think it might just be Kim Rai comes into the pits here and picks up a penalty. Or was it another Haas driver that has picked up a penalty?
Baba has retired. Has he crashed out somewhere?
I'm not entirely sure, because he just slowed down coming out of Parabolica, and I thought he was just letting a couple go for some odd reason. But, you know, I think, would it be too stupid to say that he may have run out of fuel? I definitely don't think that's possible, but
that is not possible. If you run out of fuel, you'll just, like, you won't stop suddenly. Absolutely.
I mean, you do slow down, which is what we saw.
Yes. As we see Glader,
let the move happen, but what happened? Sorry, Joe, I have to point out. I think Baba let a couple go right out of the Ascari down the back straight. I think he had an illegal overtake on couple. I'm not entirely sure because that looked like he was giving the place back, but he definitely did go into the pits and retire. So I guess it might have probably been a rage quit, but I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, Glader will be eating into the top 2 as well right now because of the difference in tires and the grip. And oh, some weaving over there. Moto makes a couple of direction changes.
Moto and Eccentric trying their hard to not give each other, at least the person behind them, the toe. But Glader with his 3-lap-old softs and a very hot engine, I must say, holding quite easily behind these two cars. And he will be looking out for the right opportunity to pass them and just walk away with the victory. I don't want to jinx him, just saying there.
Helium picks up another time penalty, and the number of drivers right now who are running penalty-free in the race has dropped from 3 to 2. Oh no, wait, I think Evil Doc was the one who didn't have any penalties, and I believe he has picked up a penalty since we said that. So I think my statement of Glader being the only driver to finish the race without penalties might come true yet. So we will keep an eye on that. But Glader right now on the attack with those fresh softs, 3 laps old now. You can see the massive.
Absolutely, he just sends it down the inside of Eccentric down in Parabolica, and he doesn't even want the DRS. He just sends it, takes the move, takes the place away from Eccentric, and I think he will be making another move down the DRS straight and makes it stick. Yes,
this is scintillating stuff.
Absolutely amazing stuff from Glader. We must say, as we see Eccentric trying to muscle his way. Absolutely trying to muscle his way out of this crowd.
Oh, I've got goosebumps looking at this battle right now. It was 3 wide coming out of the Curva Grande there. Amazing racing from Glader. The sheer pace that he has on those soft tires is unrivaled now. The fastest man on track by some margin. But Eccentric has now gone from losing a place and dropping down to P3 to moving up to P1 in the span of 2 corners. What is going on here?
I have no idea why Glader thinks of sending it down before the Ascari chicane, but sticks behind Eccentric. And what I saw is Eccentric's light blinking, so he is running low on the ERS. And yes, just 6%, so I don't think that would be enough for him to save an attack from Glader down the DRS straight. As we see Glader deploying bit of his ERS, waits for the DRS, and he should be walking past Eccentric. Unless Eccentric decides to be the last of the late breakers, probably. I don't think so. That will be happening.
Well, hello there. I need to cut you off because Couple has made up a couple of places. And he's going to P2 as well. He's taken the place away from Eccentric. He's lost 2 positions, 3 positions down that first corner. And ooh, lot of wheel-to-wheel action going on there.
Yeah, we have General Pepe joining in on the battle as well. Oh, Eccentric into the wall. Orange front wing. Ooh, that might be Eccentric's race over right there. He's still getting absolute. It's like Beyblades out there. Everyone making contact with everyone right now. And I mean, regardless of where you finish in this race, you pick up points because we have only 10 drivers remaining. But with 4 laps left to go, Eccentric has gone from the lead of the race at the beginning of the lap to 8th place and is carrying penalties. This race has been nothing short of outstanding, and he has got a red wing as well. He's got an orange, very orange wing, almost on the verge of having no wing at all.
Absolutely, as we see struggling down the Ascari chicane, he will definitely have to pit. As we see Glader sets the pace with a 121.1. Those softs are really working out for him, but Couple is hot on his tail. I must say, just a second, hardly a second difference between those guys. And we see Moto making a switchback work on General Pepe beautifully. That was an amazing move from Motomoto. Doesn't wait for him, gives him the way, and absolutely scintillating stuff from Motomoto. General Pepe tries to take the place back, but Motomoto being a bit more of a late breaker manages to hold on to the last podium place. So Kapil, we did not see Kapil coming there. Kapil starting outside of top 10. Yeah, he started somewhere between. I think he started P14. Managed to work down his way as we see General Pepe trying to make a move on Motomoto, but I think there was a bit of a collision, but no damage, and a bit of a weaving from General Pepe. Is that the Tiamat Marduk happy weave or a frustration weave?
I think right now it's a battle between teammates. If anything, in real life, we wouldn't see that. We wouldn't want to see two drivers, teammates coming together, especially. So, if there is some sort of argy-bargy going on there between General Pepe and Motomoto, it's definitely going to be something that's going to be sorted out later after the race. But right now, as it stands, with 2 laps remaining, or I should say 3 laps remaining, Glader leading the race right now. We do see General Pepe getting a good exit out of turn 2. Will they go side by side? They will be side by side going into the braking zone of De La Roggia. And he does get the move done again up into P3. But I think it deserves to be said that Glader is now running away 2.2 seconds clear of Kapil. Kapil himself nearly 3 seconds clear of General Pepe. So, yeah.
Yes, as we see, the hard runners are struggling with the grip right now. 18 lap hold, and they are being eaten alive with the people, with the drivers with pretty much, you can say, fresher tires. And as we see, Evil Dog is just 4 tenths behind Tanish, and Evil Dog is carrying fresher tires. Yeah, he did definitely bid for fresher tires. Yes. So yeah, Evil Dog is on 7 lap old softs, and I think it would be an easy move from him on Tanish if we can just go on board Evil Dog. As we see a yellow sector 3, is that a Spun Haas? Yes. So Kim Rai has
Retired.
the Ascari chicane. Yeah, the Ascari chicane. Yeah, we definitely need to rename it as we see Tanish being overtaken. No, it's Tanish and Motomoto still battling it out.
Well, we are in the
They are on
penultimate
equal
lap.
terms.
Yes, they are on equal terms. They are on the penultimate lap, and well, it's gonna be interesting to see because I'll quickly go on board the penalties because yeah, P3 and P4 are basically fighting for battle, whereas Tanish on the other hand isn't fighting for these places because he has a 9-second penalty, but nonetheless, Evil Dog not very far off from the P3 spot because he has, I guess.
We can just go on board Evil Dog.
Yep.
Yes, he is hot on the tails of Tanish. Probably saving up he's saving up his ERS from the DRS trade. Deploy entirety of it as we see Tanish is struggling with his ERS, but has a wider line out of Parabolica. Carries greater speed, but we see Evil Dog's engine is hot, absolutely hot, red hot we can say. I think he is running on rich fuel mixture and just deploying whatever fuel is left because this is the last lap. Glader is running away in P1 with a 2.5 second gap to P2, which is Kapil Ace. General Pepe running in P3 with Motomoto in P4. And the closest battle we have right now is with Tanish and Motomoto. Okay, did Evil Dog had an issue?
Yes, I think Evil Dog did because he slowed down drastically. You can see
Absolutely.
he's not really pushing, short shifting a lot.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. If Evil Dog had managed to keep it clean, he would have been contending for the podium positions. But right now, I don't think it is possible, considering the penalties the other people are carrying. And as we see, Glader has round up Parabolica and has taken P1.
Brilliant race from him. Absolutely amazing.
Yes, it's the safety car coming right out to the track as we see Moto going bit sideways but managing to come down in P4. Do we have an incident there? Okay.
Ooh,
Is that
looks
Evil
like
Dog
Evil Dog
running out
might-
of fuel?
Oh my god!
Or what's going on here? I think Evil Dog ran out of fuel in the last corner probably. Because that was him struggling to cross the line. But he managed to come down in P7
Well,
with Pro P in 8. Yeah.
yep, and Eccentric just crossing the line. I've gone off board him
Yeah.
because I wanted to stay on the P1 boy, but that's amazing. Well, what do you guys think of the race? Because that was a mixed up race. Definitely, I was gonna point this out. Thank you, game, but he is my driver of the day because he's managed to stay clean, keep it in the race, and I don't think he got a single penalty throughout. And he also came from the back of the grid. So, wow, just wow. That was a good race for P2 from Couple, and I'm happy he's gotten that podium because, damn, there was a long time coming. He's a fast guy, and with the amount of misfortune he's had in the previous races, I guess Canada was probably a close one for him for the podium, but an unfortunate mistake in the last lap costed him that podium. But nonetheless, we'll go through the standings and the final race results.
Glader in P1 finishing after a fantastic comeback race, a race absolutely filled with action and incidents right from, well, the opening couple of laps, but he's managed to capitalize fantastically well on the misfortune of others to finish P1 after starting P13. Couple in P2, another driver who kept his race very, very clean, and General Pepe, after returning to IRC after a brief stint away, has managed to finish on the podium as well. And we can see the number of tires used by all these drivers. I think Kimrai, that was, who gets the award for the most pit stops, 5 pit stops there. And in the end, I don't think he even managed to finish the race. So pretty unlucky for him. But yeah, there you go. That's pretty much the top 5 for you today. Eccentric, the pole sitter, unable to capitalize on his pole position and just managed to not keep up the pace and managed to make a couple of errors and it just derailed his race completely. And he finished, I think, last.
Well, as we try to get our podium finishers in, I think it was Glader. I will pull in
Yes.
General Pepe. I have couple here. Let's just try and get Glader on board as well. In the meantime, you can take it away, Itzel, because we have P2 and P3 in the VC.
Yep. I think I will also do a little handoff job here. I'll hand it off to Joe. I think I'll let him handle the first couple of podium interviews here.
Right there. So, Couple, let me just start with you there, mate. You started outside of outside of P10. Started on the mediums and managed to climb all the way up to the podium positions. And I see you talking in IRC saying that this will be a pathetic race for you considering you hadn't practiced anymore, but the positions say otherwise. What do you have to say here, Couple?
If people go ahead and do dumb shit, that's gonna happen. They're gonna gift me positions, and that's exactly what happened today. People kept crashing into each other, kept missing their braking points, kept pushing with cold tires, kept brake checking, and all sorts of shenanigans. I got so much captured in my own POV, I got no words to say on what happened. So they just like, take it. We don't need these positions, go fight for championship. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I don't know, man. Silly stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, I think keeping it clean, I think you were one of very few drivers who did not manage to pick up a penalty throughout the whole race, and I think that has massively benefited you as well. Great comeback drive, and you were, I think, Harshit's driver of the day today as well, so fantastic drive from you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. We also have, sorry, I just need to inform you, Glader's in the VC, but since he doesn't have a mic, you can ask him the questions and he'll type out the answers for us.
Okay, sure. So I guess we'll ask him the questions that we need to ask, and we'll give him a bit of time to type it out. And in the meantime, we'll ask General Pepe how his race went. So, Glader, fantastic race from your side. P1, you started P13. Just a couple of things we want to know. Firstly, what was your mindset going into the race? Secondly, what was your mindset going into the race, considering you were starting outside the top 10? Secondly, did the safety car periods affect you? And I think Joe, if you have any questions, you can post them as well.
I just wanted to ask Glader, did you expect a podium today? Considering you are pretty new to IRC, you have the pace. Absolutely, you have the pace. But did you expect any kind of like such a turnout today? And the safety car definitely worked out for you. So what do you have to say today, considering your podium position? And yeah, so we do have General Pepe in the chat as well. So General Pepe, you did not have a brilliant start. You losing some positions, but hey, it's okay. It's the podium. You managed to finish in P3. So how do you feel post race?
Right. Oh my God, what a race it was! So many safety cars, so many things to adjust. But I mean, people were like really aggressive, and I mean, I was without any practice, so I was not expecting anything. So I think P3 is a very good result. I think I'm
Absolutely.
happy. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to all of you winners, and we are waiting on Glader.
Well, I will
Hopefully
tell you.
Glader.
I will tell you his answer. So for the first question about what he was thinking about in going into the race, he wanted to make as many overtakes as possible and have some good fun, which he definitely did. And that's probably why he used the soft tires every time he pit, because we saw him pit twice for the soft tires, and luckily the second time was within the safety car period. Moving on to the next answer. He is telling that the safety car period affected everyone, and he got lucky by making the right decisions, like I mentioned earlier. And definitely, he did not expect to win, but he knows that he has the pace, and he's really thankful for the race. And well, he got accommodated a little late into the season, but I guess well deserved, because he's doing really well with the pace he's got, and he was also not very much worried on getting the podium. So I guess those were the answers for the questions collectively that we were asking him.
Well, it a little fishy that he's so fast and just doesn't have a voice. Is he even Indian? Like,
yes, he is. He is, and I guess the issue is he does not have a mic, couple. Fishy. Hanji, I think the response Hanji should really. I mean, we can get it that
yes,
he's
Google
Indian.
Translate does a lovely job, sure.
Well, we have Inspector Couple on the rounds, and we can take that with a little bit of humor. But I guess, other than that, well, he's typing in Hindi right now, so I don't really think he is anything but Indian right now, couple. So, well, I guess that's all for the podium interviews. Do you guys have anything else to ask for the drivers, Joe and Isel?
No, I think if Harshit could just tell us the list of bad words that Glader typed out in response to Kapil's question, it'll be very interesting, but I don't think we can cover that on the stream. So I think we'll just go ahead and conclude it there for today. Oh yeah, that was definitely a roller coaster 2 hours that we've just had here. Absolutely brilliant racing from all the drivers today. Maybe some more than others, but it's definitely it was definitely not lacking in entertainment, I would say, and I think Joe and Harry, you would agree with me on that.
Absolutely, that was one scintillating race. I loved it. I loved commentating it. 1.5 hours, I did not even know it going by. That was some amazing stuff. Yeah, that is one way to conclude the race.
I think had Monza been the season finale, which it isn't, we should probably add, we still have Tier 1 of Singapore and Japan to come up due to the races being postponed in the past. We do have those races still coming up. So the the season's not quite over just yet, but had this been the season finale, what a fitting season finale it would have been, an absolute firecracker. But I think that's going to be everything from our side. Do also stay tuned tomorrow for Tier 2 and 3, where you will see fellow commentators Crazy Joe and Harry in Tier 2, as well as the ever entertaining Tier 3. I think this has been everything from our side. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.